Welcome to The Jeweler's View. I'm Courtney Gray, metalsmith, educator, and creative business strategist. After 25 years in the jewelry industry, running one of the country's top metalsmithing schools, coaching artists, advising companies and organizations, and hosting interviews with some of the best in the craft, I finally created the kind of support I wish I'd had from the start. This podcast is a part of that. Each week, I share the lessons I had to learn the hard way so you can build a rhythm that supports your creative work, your values, and the life and business you actually want. Find tools, coaching, and my Transform course at CourtneyGrayArts.com, and let's get to work. Over the last couple of episodes, we've talked about rising metal prices. We've talked about constraints. We've talked about pressure revealing information. But today I want to zoom out because metal prices are only part of what's shifting. Markets change, energy changes, life changes. As we know, it's the one thing we can count on. And what most jewelers are actually feeling right now isn't just financial pressure. It's directional pressure. Questions like, should I raise my prices? Should I narrow my collection? Should I scale back? Should I scale up? Should I push forward? Should I pivot? Should I finally take this more seriously? When the environment changes, it exposes whether your direction is solid or fragile. So today I want to talk about how to find clear direction in an ever-changing jewelry market. Not by predicting what will happen next. I do not have a crystal ball, though I wish I did sometimes, but by deciding where you're going. It's easy to point to material costs as the main problem. But most of the time when I talk to jewelers, what's underneath is something else. They're talented, they're capable, they're producing work. The momentum is there, but they are undefined. Undefined about what tier or lane they actually want to operate in, how much volume they truly want to produce, what role jewelry actually plays in their life, and what success actually looks like to them. When direction is vague, any market shift is going to feel really destabilizing. But when direction is chosen, market shifts become adjustments, not identity crisis. The market doesn't determine your stability. Your direction does. Direction doesn't mean certainty about the future. It means clarity about your lane, at least for now, your capacity currently, your margins, your pricing structure, and your season of life. It means being able to say, this is my pricing tier, this is my output level, this is the type of work that I stand behind. This is who I'm speaking to with the work. It means you're not reinventing your strategy every time the market moves. Direction reduces this decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is one of the most silent drains in creative businesses. Without direction, every fluctuation feels really personal. A slow week feels like failure. A price increase feels like danger. A competitor feels like a threat instead of a potential collaboration. And a customer hesitation feels like rejection from everyone sometimes. Without direction, you question your worth. You lower your prices. You add more pieces. You over-explain your materials or your choices, and you start scrambling. With direction, you respond differently. You look at your numbers. You review your profit margin. You refine your collection. You adjust your lane or your tier, and you protect your energy in a different way. With direction, you adjust your structure. You make decisions from the bench, right? From making, not from fear. That's the difference. This is the part that doesn't always get talked about publicly. And inside Transform, we don't just talk about pricing formulas or marketing tactics. We work on direction. We work on deciding, who am I now? What kind of business do I want at this stage of my life? How much output is sustainable for me? And what tier actually fits my skill level currently and my lifestyle? What am I actually building toward? Because a jeweler in her 30s building momentum looks different than someone in her 70s, recalibrating after caregiving or loss of a spouse or family member. Someone scaling up looks different than someone choosing steadiness over growth. Direction is personal, my friend. It's not cookie cutter. And once it's chosen, everything else starts to stabilize. I've seen this with my students inside Transform. They decide, do I want 50 pieces at $150 or 12 pieces at $2,500? Do I want to do custom work only? Or do I teach plus have a production line? There's no one size fits all here. There's no correct answer. There's power in choosing for yourself. When someone finds direction, here's what I see shift. They stop second guessing every price. They stop building collections that don't connect with them or their audience. They stop chasing trends that really don't align with them. They stop apologizing for cost increases. And they stop waiting for permission to move forward. They move forward without needing constant reassurance or validation. Now, the result is not overnight success. The result is consistency, steadiness. And steadiness is incredibly powerful in unstable times. We are in a season of big change. Material costs are shifting like crazy. Markets are adjusting. Energy is fluctuating. You can feel it, right? There's a lot going on in the world. But direction doesn't come from waiting for all of this to calm down or for the industry to stabilize. It comes from deciding who you are within it. And this is why I like to open the doors to Transform, not because metal prices are rising, but because direction matters most when conditions are changing. If you're listening and you're realizing, I don't need another tactic. I need structure. I need perspective. I need a container to make real decisions about my own direction. Then this is your moment. Not to react, but to choose your direction intentionally. A changing market does not eliminate opportunity. It reveals who has direction. And direction isn't something the market's just going to hand to you. It's something that you have to build and fine tune. If you're ready to do that work, Transform is currently open. And if you're still circling the idea, that's okay. Just notice that. Notice the resistance. Because the advantage right now isn't predicting what metals do next. The advantage is knowing exactly where you are going, no matter what happens. All right, I will see you inside Transform. And if not, I'll be here next week for you either way. Onward and upward, my friend. Thanks for listening to The Jeweler's View. If today's episode gave you something to think about, consider sending it to a friend or share it on social and tag me at Courtney Gray Art. You'll find tools, coaching, resources, and the Transform course at CourtneyGrayArts.com. Remember, you're not behind. You're becoming exactly the kind of maker your business needs. And that kind of depth, it takes time. I'll be back next week, same time, same tough love. Onward and upward.